Discipline is the difference between average and elite. Not talent, not luck, not connections. Every graveyard is full of talented people who never became great. Every city is filled with dreamers who had potential but lacked consistency. The truth is simple and uncomfortable. Average people act when they feel motivated, but elite people act regardless of how they feel. When the alarm rings at 5 a.m., average minds negotiate. Elite minds execute. When pain shows up, average people look for comfort. Elite individuals look for growth. Discipline is choosing long-term power over short-term pleasure. It is going to the gym when your body is tired, working on your craft when nobody is watching, staying focused when distractions are screaming your name. It is doing the boring, repetitive, uncomfortable work that no one applauds, but everyone benefits from later. The elite are not superhuman. They just refuse to break promises to themselves. They understand that small daily actions compound into unstoppable results. One extra hour of practice, one more page read, one more rep, one more attempt when quitting feels easier. Over time, those small decisions build confidence, strength, skill, and mental toughness. Discipline builds identity. Every time you do what you said you would do, you become stronger internally. You start trusting yourself. And once you trust yourself, you become dangerous in the best way possible. While others wait for perfect timing, you move. While others complain, you adapt. While others sleep on their goals, you build yours brick by brick. The world does not reward intentions. It rewards execution. And execution belongs to the disciplined. If you want to cross the line from average to elite, stop asking how you feel and start asking what must be done. Feelings change. Results come from habits. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could become. The question is not whether you are talented enough. The question is whether you are disciplined enough to show up every single day, especially on the days you don't feel like it. Because, in the end, greatness is not an event. It is a lifestyle built on daily discipline. Discipline is the difference between average and elite. Not because elite people are born different. Not because they wake up with more motivation. Not because they feel fearless or confident every day, but because they have trained themselves to act regardless of emotion. The average person waits to feel ready. The elite person decides and then moves. That single distinction, repeated daily, quietly shapes destinies. If you truly want to understand why some people rise above the noise while others remain stuck in cycles of excuses, you have to look at what they do when they don't feel like doing anything at all. Think about how most people operate. They say they want success. They want a better body, a stronger mindset, financial freedom, respect. But their actions depend on mood. If they feel inspired, they work. If they feel tired, they rest. If they feel bored, they scroll. Their effort is emotional, and emotions are unstable. They rise and fall like waves. So progress becomes inconsistent. A strong week followed by 2 weak ones. A burst of energy followed by burnout. The average life is not built on lack of desire. It is built on lack of disciplined consistency. Now consider someone elite, not necessarily famous, but elite in standards. That person may wake up exhausted, overwhelmed, even doubtful. But the action still happens. The workout still gets done. The studying still continues. The extra call still gets made. The elite individual does not ask, "Do I feel motivated?" They ask, "What must be done today?" And then they execute. Over time, that gap between emotional decision-making and disciplined decision-making becomes enormous. Look at someone like Kobe Bryant. His legendary Mamba mentality wasn't about hype. It was about repetition. Teammates told stories of him showing up to practice at 4 a.m. long before anyone else. Not once, not for a week, for years. Imagine the discipline required to repeat that behavior daily when no cameras were watching. Talent helped him enter the league. Discipline made him one of the greatest. The difference wasn't a single game-winning shot. It was thousands of unseen mornings when he chose preparation over comfort. But maybe you're not an athlete. Maybe you're a student, an employee, a creator. someone trying to build something from scratch. Discipline still applies the same way. Think about Elon Musk. Regardless of opinions about him, one undeniable trait stands out: extreme work discipline. During the early days of building his companies, he reportedly slept on factory floors to oversee production issues. Not because it was glamorous, not because it felt good, but because the mission demanded it. Elite outcomes often require uncomfortable consistency long before rewards appear. Discipline is not loud. It is not emotional. It is not cinematic. It is quiet, repetitive, sometimes boring. And that is exactly why so few people master it. Most people crave intensity, big breakthroughs, viral moments, overnight transformations. But elite individuals understand something deeper. Greatness is built in monotony. The same routine, executed again and again, even when excitement fades. That's where separation happens. Imagine two people who both decide to get in shape. The average person goes hard for 2 weeks. They push intensely, feel sore, post progress pictures, feel proud. Then one stressful day at work appears. They skip the gym. Then another. Soon the routine breaks. They tell themselves they'll restart Monday. Monday turns into next month. Motivation was high, but discipline was weak. Now imagine the elite-minded individual. They commit to small, sustainable daily workouts. Some days are strong. Some days feel terrible, but they show up anyway. They understand that missing once is a mistake. Missing twice becomes a pattern. Months later, the results speak. Not because they were more inspired, but because they were more consistent. Discipline builds self-trust. And self-trust is power. Every time you promise yourself you will do something, and then you actually do it, even when it's inconvenient, you reinforce a powerful internal identity. I am someone who keeps my word. Most average people break promises to themselves constantly. I'll wake up early. Snooze. I'll stop procrastinating. Delay. I'll save money. Spend. Over time, their subconscious stops believing their intentions. Confidence erodes not because they lack ability, but because they lack follow-through. Elite individuals protect self-trust fiercely. They start small if necessary. 1 page a day, 10 push-ups, 30 minutes of focused work. But they never negotiate with their commitments lightly. That repeated alignment between word and action creates unshakable confidence. And confidence built through discipline is different from hype-driven confidence. It is quiet, stable, earned. Consider Taylor Swift. Behind the fame is a pattern of relentless songwriting, reinvention, rehearsals, and strategic consistency. Albums don't write themselves. Stadium tours don't execute themselves. Success at that level is not sustained by talent alone, it's sustained by discipline in craft. Elite artists rehearse when no one sees them. Elite performers prepare beyond what is required. That's the invisible difference. Discipline also changes how you respond to discomfort. Average minds interpret discomfort as a signal to stop. Elite minds interpret discomfort as a sign of growth. When studying gets hard, average students distract themselves. Elite students lean deeper. When business slows down, average entrepreneurs panic. Elite entrepreneurs analyze, adjust, and persist. The ability to stay steady when results are delayed is a disciplined muscle. Think of someone preparing for a major exam. The average approach is cramming intense effort close to the deadline, fueled by stress. The elite approach is daily review, structured repetition, steady preparation long before pressure arrives. One strategy feels dramatic. The other feels boring. But one creates mastery. The other creates anxiety. Discipline is not about being extreme. It is about being reliable. Reliability compounds. Imagine improving just 1% daily. That sounds insignificant, but 1%, repeated consistently for a year, transforms completely. Average people underestimate small actions because they crave immediate visible results. Elite individuals respect small actions because they understand time magnifies discipline. There will be days when you doubt yourself. Days when progress feels invisible. Days when quitting seems logical. This is the exact moment where average and elite separate. Not in public victory, but in private decision. Do you continue when no one is clapping? Do you push when results are slow? Do you stay aligned when distractions are everywhere? Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Beyond natural ability, stories of his training discipline are legendary. Extra drills after team practice, strict nutrition, recovery routines. Decades at the top of one of the most competitive sports in the world require something beyond passion. Passion fades, discipline sustains. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Discipline often feels unfair. You may work hard and still not see immediate rewards. Meanwhile, someone less consistent appears lucky. But discipline is not a short-term strategy. It is a long-term identity. The elite think in years, not days. They know consistency eventually exposes shortcuts. Time reveals who is serious. If you want to move from average to elite, start by mastering your mornings. How you begin your day shapes your momentum. Wake up when you say you will. Avoid instant distractions. Complete one meaningful task before checking your phone. This simple habit alone can rewire your self-image. You stop seeing yourself as reactive and start seeing yourself as intentional. Then focus on finishing what you start. Elite people close loops. They complete projects. They follow through. The average person has many ideas. The elite person has executed ideas. Execution is disciplined action sustained beyond initial excitement. There will always be reasons not to act. You're tired. You're stressed. You're not ready. But the elite understand that readiness is often created through action, not before it. Motion creates clarity. Action builds momentum. Discipline fuels motion even when clarity is missing. Imagine speaking to your future self 5 years from now. That version of you is either grateful or disappointed. And the difference will not be intelligence. It will not be opportunity alone. It will be the accumulation of daily, disciplined decisions you either honored or ignored. You don't need to transform overnight. You need to win today. One disciplined choice. Then repeat tomorrow. Remove negotiation. Reduce overthinking. Decide your standard. And protect it. Discipline is freedom. It sounds paradoxical, but it's true. When you are disciplined, you are not controlled by mood, distraction, or impulse. You choose direction consciously. The average person is pulled by external stimuli. The elite person is guided by internal standards. Right now, somewhere in the world, someone less talented than you is outperforming you not because they are superior, but because they are more consistent. That truth can sting, but it can also empower, because discipline is learnable. It is trainable. It is available to anyone willing to practice it daily. The gap between average and elite is not dramatic in a single day. It is dramatic over years. It is built in early alarms, finished workouts, completed tasks, resisted temptations, focused hours. It is built in choosing growth when comfort calls louder. So ask yourself honestly, are you operating emotionally or intentionally? Are you waiting to feel ready? Or are you training yourself to move regardless? Because in the end, elite status is not a title. It is a pattern of disciplined action repeated until excellence becomes identity. And the most powerful part is this. You can begin today, not perfectly, not intensely, but consistently. One disciplined action, then another. Build the evidence. Strengthen self-trust. Close the gap. Over time, you won't just chase elite results. You will embody elite standards. Discipline is the difference. And that difference begins the moment you decide that your standards matter more than your excuses. Discipline does not discriminate. It is impartial, indifferent to your circumstances, your mood, or the obstacles that line your path. It rewards the one who consistently shows up, day after day, while others wait for inspiration or permission. Consider someone like Michael Jordan. Often regarded as the greatest, his talent was extraordinary, but it was his relentless work ethic that made him elite. Early mornings, late nights, hundreds of extra shots taken in the empty gym, these were unseen moments that stacked upon each other, quietly building mastery. Jordan did not rely on natural skill alone. He relied on the discipline of daily improvement. Every time he could have chosen comfort over practice, he chose the harder path. That is the line between being good and being legendary. Discipline is not glamorous. There are no applause signs, no fanfare, no social media likes. It often feels invisible, and that is exactly why so many people fail to cultivate it. The world celebrates peaks, but the real difference is created in valleys, the small, repetitive, unseen actions that compound over time. The elite understand this, while average individuals chase excitement. The disciplined chase consistency. They study when bored, train when exhausted, create when uninspired, and strategize when overwhelmed. They know that temporary discomfort is the currency of long-term greatness. Let's imagine an ordinary person striving to succeed in life. They set goals, maybe fitness, career, or personal growth. They wake up on Monday feeling motivated. They push hard, work diligently, and maybe even see some progress. But then comes Tuesday. Stress, fatigue, or distraction. Motivation fades. They miss a session, procrastinate, or justify inaction. One day of missed effort feels minor, but it seeds a dangerous pattern. Discipline is about refusing that pattern. It is about showing up even when the feelings are gone, even when the energy is depleted. That is the daily decision that separates average from elite. Consider Jeff Bezos. Amazon was not built in a single day. The difference between a startup and a global powerhouse is relentless follow-through. Bezos spent countless hours studying markets, analyzing data, and making decisions that no one else saw. The average entrepreneur quits when the risk feels too high or when the results are delayed. Bezos and the disciplined elite persist through uncertainty, trusting in the power of consistent, well-directed action. Results eventually follow, because time always rewards those who keep showing up. Discipline is the architecture of identity. Every choice you make sends a signal to yourself. Who am I? Each time you follow through, you reinforce your internal narrative. When you skip workouts, delay work, or ignore commitments, your subconscious starts to believe that your promises are optional. Discipline builds a different belief, that your word matters, that you are someone who does what you say, even when it is inconvenient. Over months and years, this self-trust becomes unshakable, giving you the confidence to tackle challenges others would avoid. Take the example of Adele. Her success did not appear overnight. Behind the voice that fills stadiums lies hours of writing, practicing, revising, and performing in small, unnoticed venues. She developed a disciplined approach to her craft long before fame appeared. The difference between Adele and someone with a similar natural voice, but no follow-through, is not talent, it is daily commitment. Discipline turns potential into mastery. Discipline is also about learning to embrace discomfort. Average people seek ease, avoiding situations that push them beyond their comfort zones. Elite individuals lean into that discomfort because they understand it is a sign of growth. Every challenge, every moment of resistance, is an opportunity to reinforce resilience. The act of pushing past fear, doubt, or pain strengthens the mind far more than avoiding it ever could. Imagine a student preparing for a difficult exam. Average students cram the night before, fueled by panic and caffeine, hoping to absorb knowledge in one dramatic burst. Elite students, on the other hand, engage in daily study routines, review material methodically, and challenge themselves with questions that push their understanding further. One approach feels intense and fleeting. The other feels boring but sustainable. The results, over time, are staggering. Discipline compounds small efforts into mastery, just as water shapes rock, drop by drop. The story of discipline is also about momentum. One small action builds another. One disciplined choice leads to another, creating a cascade of habits that propel you forward. Consider Serena Williams. Her greatness is not a single tournament win. It is the accumulation of disciplined choices over decades. Early morning practices, diet control, focused repetition, mental conditioning, and careful recovery. The average player relies on talent, excitement, and mood. The elite rely on habit. Over time, that habit becomes a force that others cannot match. And discipline is not reserved for extraordinary circumstances. It is most powerful when applied in ordinary life. Waking up at the same time every day, completing work before procrastination creeps in, choosing learning over entertainment. Consistency in these small domains builds a foundation for extraordinary achievement. The elite understand this principle intuitively. Greatness is a reflection of daily standards, not dramatic moments. Discipline also sharpens decision-making. When you train yourself to act despite hesitation, you learn clarity under pressure. Average people procrastinate and delay because they are unsure, overwhelmed, or fearful. Elite people decide and act, refining their strategy as they go. This pattern develops decisiveness, courage, and mental toughness, all essential traits for extraordinary success. Take Cristiano Ronaldo as an example. His peak performance is legendary, but what often goes unnoticed are the small choices. Extra drills after practice, strict diet control, meticulous recovery routines. Talent can carry someone only so far. Discipline sustains elite performance through decades. Without it, natural ability fades while consistency compounds. Discipline is also about patience. The average person wants immediate results. The elite understand that results are delayed, and they trust the process. They keep executing the system, even when the world sees no visible change. Over months and years, those small disciplined choices explode into extraordinary outcomes. At its core, discipline is about freedom. Paradoxically, choosing structure over chaos liberates you from being controlled by emotions, moods, and distractions. While the average person is pulled in 1,000 directions, reacting to every impulse, the elite move intentionally, guided by standards they refuse to compromise. That freedom is the reward of consistency. The difference between average and elite is not dramatic in one day. It is cumulative, compounding over years. Every morning you wake up early. Every task you finish despite fatigue. Every commitment you honor despite doubt. Every challenge you embrace despite fear. That is the invisible work that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Ask yourself this: are you living according to your standards, or are you reacting to circumstances? Are you waiting for inspiration, or are you creating momentum through disciplined action? Every choice matters, because over time, choices define who you are. The elite know this, and they act accordingly. The average are still negotiating with excuses. The path to elite is simple but not easy. Decide what matters most. Protect your standards. Show up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Start small if necessary, but be relentless. One disciplined action leads to another. Time amplifies these decisions. Years later, the gap between you and average peers will be insurmountable, not because you are lucky, but because you are consistent. Discipline is not a temporary fix. It is a lifestyle. It is a mindset that shifts how you see yourself and your potential. It is the quiet engine behind every extraordinary achievement, the invisible scaffolding that supports visible greatness. Without it, talent stagnates, effort fades, and potential dies. With it, average individuals transform into elites, dreams turn into reality, and ordinary moments accumulate into legendary lives. And the truth is, you can start today. Not perfectly, not dramatically. One small disciplined action is enough to begin the chain. Choose to wake up on time. Choose to finish one task. Choose to resist a temptation. Build a habit. Strengthen self-trust. Momentum grows. Results eventually follow. And that is the bridge from average to elite. Discipline, repeated, unwavering, unstoppable. Remember this: greatness is not a matter of luck, talent, or timing. It is the result of countless small choices, repeated consistently when nobody is watching. The difference between average and elite is not dramatic. It is quiet, unseen, and relentless. Today, you have the power to start building that difference. You can choose discipline over excuses, action over hesitation, commitment over comfort. The person you will become in 5 years depends on the choices you make today. One disciplined action, one completed task, one promise kept to yourself. These are the bricks that build an unshakable foundation. Start small if you must, but start now. Momentum grows faster than you think, and each decision compounds into a life you once only imagined. Know this. Every challenge, every uncomfortable moment, every time you push past fear or doubt, you are becoming elite. You are proving to yourself that you are capable of more than average. You are shaping an identity that does not rely on motivation, it relies on action, and that identity is unstoppable. So rise up. Make today count. Choose discipline, choose consistency, choose yourself. Because when you do, the life you dream of stops being a fantasy and becomes a reality. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by the choices you make right now. And right now is yours. Go. Take one action, then another. Build the momentum. Trust the process. And watch yourself become elite.